All right. So, I believe that this is day one of my trading journal. Yeah. Well, it's not officially day one. I tried doing this the last, what are we, Wednesday now? The last 2 days. But I kept running into the same issues on the same dang thing. It was fucking annoying. But we're into the mix. I guess I should just start off by introducing this whole thing for myself. I don't think anybody's gonna really watch this, so name's Sydney. One thing that I do is I'm an entrepreneur. I have my own companies, but also at the same time, about 3+ years ago, I started trading with a buddy of mine named Malcolm. Overall, we have been studying these charts off and on for the past 3 years consecutively. Now, as you can see, I've already jumped into a trade. I'm going to go over the reason why I'm in this trade, and it could probably go with or against me. I just want to make sure that since I did jump in, I instantly started up the stream, because at this point, I think that it's a good thing to have on in the background, right? If I take a win, then I take a win on the first one. If I don't, then whoop-de-doo. But also at the same time, I've been stalking this area. As you can see, I have it marked up in multiple ways. I've been stalking this area since Monday, and I do believe that we have the opportunity of it shorting just based upon how it's looking here. We have an extension. We also have an area previously looked at as a resistance zone. You see here, price action fell, did a retest, dropped from here, now it's retesting that same level. We have big wick outs in that area, and we kind of see that over here where price action pushed up, created a head and shoulder, dropped, retested, was able to break through but didn't have much momentum to keep it going, and now it fell down below that. I'm wondering, are we going to get a rejection at this level, taking price action potentially back down to here, or maybe even here for a retest to see if there is momentum still coming in? If anything, we can still take this short down to here. That is at least a good 170 pips. We are going to be trading a 0.01 to get us started, and I will go over all the reasons why I'm doing all this and everything, since this is the first episode to this interesting series that I've attempted 2 times before. I'll get into that as the series progresses. But so overall, been trading off and on for about 3+ years. Now, the one thing that I find that's beautiful about trading is the fact that it's going to humble you real quick, and it's also going to put you into a place to where you have to be able to calculate things beyond just like the basic scale. So in this kind of case, the reason why I enjoy this, because some of the things that I always like to do is challenge myself. And challenge myself, I actually did. So most of the time, it's smarter for people to start off trading in this kind of sense with paper currency, right? That's probably your smartest bet, right? You're not sacrificing or risking any of your own personal finances. You're able to, get an understanding of the different trading trends, find which pairs work best for you, move around in that regard, right? Well, that is the smartest approach, and I would say the most logistical approach. Me, on the other hand, I'm quite dumb to a degree. I wouldn't say that I'm dumb, but I would say that I like to have fun and I like to risk things. Reason is I'm a poker player. Whenever you're starting off to play poker, everything's all about the chase and the race. But then the more that you sit down, you start analyzing your position on the table. You figure out, are you playing 9-man? Are you playing 6-man? Are you heads up? What is your position on the board while you're playing those 9 or 6-man? Your cards that you're holding in that position, are you playing up against a seasoned veteran? All those different factors equates to, are you going to get better or improve into something? And I find that same factor equivalent in trading. So I started trading whenever it came down to stocks. I ran my hand at swing trading in stocks. I tried to do that kind of like quick pace where you're day trading. I tried doing that. I always ended up losing money. I'm not gonna lie. So then I started to realize to myself, I like to hold on to things by looking at trends, right? So whenever my buddy Malcolm came through and he was like, yo, you trade Forex? I think we were playing paintball at that time. It was either paintball. No. I saw a story that he posted on his Instagram. And this was like 2 or 3 years after we had played our last paintball match. And then I was like, yo, you trade? Because he was posting something about, I think, stocks at that time. And I was like, yo, you trade? Everything kind of just like took off from there in this area. We're already, cool buds whenever it came down to paintball. But outside of that, we never really chatted. Didn't really see kind of things that we had in common because we just knew paintball together. But carrying forth, he introduced me over to Forex. And goddamn, I swear to Buddha and Jesus Christ and Hail Marys all day long on this. It has really changed my thought process about a lot of things, especially has helped me overcome a lot of depression and negativities in my life. So be prepared for this to humble the fuck out of you and help you become a better individual yourself. Everything goes down to psychology. What is your mental state? Are you going to have the ability to overcome any obstacle that's laid out in front of you? How well do you adapt to ever-changing circumstances? How much are you willing to dedicate into it? There's people that join Forex with the thought of getting rich quick, when in reality, it's not really that simple. You're not going to be right 100% of the time. I mean, hell, there's people that have win rates as low as like 13%. But the craziest part is they're profitable. There's not so many of them in that case. Like, you're probably dealing with, like, if you got that big or small of a win rate, you're probably looking at about like a, wait, did somebody just message me? You're looking at they have to be smart on the way that they're executing. So you're looking at a very small percentage, but outside of that, you're typically looking to at least be 33% right. Because once you're 33% right and you do a good risk to reward lot sizes, you're able to understand and adapt to the circumstances that's ever changing in this, then you have the ability to be a very profitable trader. That's why most people end up quitting and, leaving this industry without recognizing that if you're able to dig deep, this could be something that can change your life, your friend's life, your family's life, all literally in the course of 3 years. If you just take the time and effort to improve yourself on a day-to-day basis. Whenever you get into a position to where you can take a trade and not be very fearful because you've done your analysis, you've taken the time and effort to actually sit there and calculate your risk to reward, you're thinking about all these different factors, you start to really grow as a person, man or woman. You become a better person, and then you start to realize a lot of things in life is going to change for you. So that's why I say trading Forex is very humbling. It's not like the stocks, right? Where you get into stocks, you're able to look at information like the CEO, CFO, COO, see exactly what they're doing in their day-to-day lives. Are they doing propaganda en masse, or are they sitting here giving back to communities? If the company's growing, are they buying shares, etc.? Did the CEO get caught on charges for some dumb thing? But whenever it comes down to Forex, you don't have that kind of news. For us, we look at stuff like this. You want to see news? These is our news. We have to take a look into every single country and their currency and exactly what's going on with it. So our news is I would say is not as abundant as other news that you can find. I'll put it like that. Or other forms of trading that you could find. So at the current, what the hell? Who's blowing up my shit, man? I'm trying to think. I think that is other channels. Okay, going back to what I was saying. So for us, we look at different news. Now, in this case, as you probably saw before I put the news up there, we're just down like 0.61 cents. That means about 6 pips we're down. That's how frequently things can change whenever it comes down to forex trading or trading in general. Price action jumped all the way up here from this heavy momentum. I'm still going to stay true. I think that is retesting the 15 or the 14 MA that I have, but I am very curious to see how this is going to end. So the 5-minute really should not be up here, but since I was looking very deep, I wanted to have that up so I can get more information. But really, I trade primarily off the 15 on the lowest. And since I love to swing trade, we're not going to talk about this random shooting tower. This is why I think that there's going to be a possibility of it continuing to buy from this area, right? Looking at it from the monthly standpoint, I'm just trying to see if we can get a little pullback action into that buy. We're looking at the monthly. Today is the 7th, so nothing too crazy. We're not midway through, so we could see a little bit of drawback, or we could just see it explode up and continue to make heavy momentum strides to the, as I used to say, the north, but now in bull's favor. So in this case, there is a lot of wiggle room for buys to set in, right? But for me personally, I love to short markets. That's kind of like one of my favorite things to do. I find I'm still trying to understand this myself. I'm wondering, is my psychology to the point to where I hate buying things? So like, I don't like to go out and spend money. I like to make money. So in this kind of case, my brain is gravitating towards, oh, well, don't buy it, but sell it. And as you can see, it does work against me a good amount of times. So that's one psychology that I do have to work out. Overall, I can't exit this trade until they reach -5 or 5 pips. And we're almost at 5 pips here. We haven't hit it yet. That's kind of another rule that I made for myself. So whenever it comes down to trading, rules is going to be something that you have to follow. Of course, rules are subject to change, but you put them in place because you're trying to see something. Like now we've hit 5 pips, so my top trade can be closed if I feel the need to. Let's see. It broke past the 14 MA off the 5-minute. We have 10 minutes left. I'm going to wait for this candle to conclude and then I'll make a decision. I can close both the trades if I so do desire, but you do have to take into account the risk to reward the things, right? So in this case, I'm risking 10 pips, right, for it to potentially go in my favor. And let's just say off the minimum scale, 60 pips. So risking 10 for 60, me personally, I don't mind that. Now, my overall analysis, depending on how it plays out here, I think that this is going to be a crucial battle. If we're able to, I would like to see that 170 pip play, right? So risking 10 pips for the potential of 170, for me, that's a great risk to reward if we're talking about it working out in my favor and we actually get holds in this area, right? Everything kind of plays in different. We're not looking at heavy momentum like we did on these last 2 candles, or yeah, last 2, not 3. We won't count that one. That one's a kind of interesting. It looks like market opened or something. Yeah, this is a very weird candle because just taking a look at that, that is a huge gap. Because if it ended off on a positive in the bull's favor, that means that the start had to be here. Bam, bam, very weird. There's a huge gap. Typically, the market is going to correct itself, so it's going to fill the gaps. So I'm wondering, typically on this kind of very bullish setup, we could see price action just skyrocket passing through here, straight up in bull's momentum, right? Off the daily. I'm kind of wondering if the monthly and the daily are the two to look at whenever it comes down to this, aka get rid of the weekly. That's kind of what you learn certain things about certain pairs. Certain pairs do better on certain time frames. You start to learn that. In this current position from the daily and the monthly, it is looking like bears got this 1,000,000%. right? Now we're getting up to 10 pips, at which that is a close for me. Now let's see if we get any retracement. We have a very interesting candle pattern right there. Will the 14 MA hold it back, or will bears take this one? So that's kind of the name of the game. What is the big retail traders doing? AKA the retail, or not retail traders, commercial traders. What are the commercial traders doing, right? Are they focusing on EU taking the advantage consistently over the dollar? Are they expecting euro to be stronger than the dollar? And for that, we actually have to look at a different set of news, which is going to be banking, or the bank, or yeah, the big banks. What are they betting on? Because they're the ones that's really the commercial traders. The retail traders, yeah, we're just little pebbles in this kind of game. Like, we're baby money in comparison to them. Like, we're toilet paper money in comparison. So they're moving millions or even billions of dollars per trade. So they're shifting the market just off of one move. Us, we're just moving it by hundreds, tens. We're doing micro lots. Like a micro lot in this case is a 0.09 and under. Or was it a 0.05 and under? It may be like a 0.04 and under. And then whenever you move into the 0.01 or 5s and ups, then you're out of the micro lots. I got to look back at that. But we have 5 minutes left, so why not look at how this 5-minute candle is bringing itself to be. Let's see how the conclusion of this 5 goes, because everything will depend on how this hour candle concludes. I really do believe that it's going to end off with heavy momentum towards the bull side. So I lost the thought that this was going to sell. I think it was yesterday whenever I took my loss. So far on the official, I've recorded those 2 videos. They may or may not be uploaded, or I may or may not upload them. Who knows? I may upload it like later whenever we reached first goal or something. Actually, that would be a good idea. Whenever we reach first goal, release like the official 1 and 2 videos. Hell yeah, that sounds great. I can't, well, I guess I can say everything is going to be moving in goal structure. So like in this case, we're going to be doubling everything. So first goal is 250. We are at, come on, hit it. Hit the 10 pip mark. Hit it. I need to add a pip counter because I don't want to keep this up. Is there a pip counter? Those points. Well, that is very interesting. Term currency? Deposit currency? Bro, the term currency and the deposit currency is the goddamn same thing. I wish that you could turn this to pip count. That would be freaking awesome. But I guess that we could do pip count like this to a degree, even though I kind of still understand that it's talking dollars. Like, I really don't like that. All right. Now we gotta wait. This one has to hit 10 and then we'll close it. All right. So as you see, we took our first loss of the day. Now, in this kind of case, most of the time, people will be like, oh no, I took a loss. No, I can't do this. Honestly, you start to become very numb to losing. You start to realize that everything's almost like a piece on a chessboard. You just have to figure everything out. And once you do, it starts to become so much easier to cope with it. That's what I think has been one of my biggest advantages, and something that I learned over the course of trading is to become numb to the losses, because as long as you keep true and you're testing things out but advancing in the test, you're still winning. So let's take a little chart up to something else. There's a few pairs that I want to add onto my trading strategy, and that's going to be GU and I don't think UJ, honestly. I don't know why UJ is up here. Where is it? I do love odd. What is the trade for this? Looks like they're in buys. I don't want the tick chart. I don't think that I can find it. So let's just do this. What is the pay? Oh, fuck me. Well, that isn't what I meant to do. Forgot this is a whole different... Okay, hold up. I gotta go to a different... Where's trading view? Oh, I don't even need trading view. I think I can do that on no end. I forgot I have one-click trading on here, and I definitely don't feel like changing that up right now. So... audio. There are certain currency pairs that I like to trade because it has the best risk to reward factor. And whenever I came up with this understanding, I went through every single currency pair and came to find out that EU is the most consistent on paying pretty much the closest to true pips. AKA, if you're actually betting margin on the lines of like a 0.01, right? If I'm not mistaken, for EU, I'm risking like for a 0.01, I'm risking about $24. Since I'm risking $24 in this equation, I'm wanting it to be as true as possible for all my pip counts. So in this case, I'm gaining 10 cents per pip move whenever I'm trading a 0.01. Now, if I go through and I start trading GU on the other hand, right? So GU, where are you? I'll be able to move this over there so I can kind of explain it a little bit more. Come on, GU. Okay, where the hell is GU actually? Am I tripping? GBP. Oh, there it is. Okay. The hell? So, in this case, right, pulled up my other thing. So if I was to switch on over to GU, right, and say that I want to make a sell for, so 1K is 0.01, which means that I get 10 cents a pip, which is 0.01. I have to put up, dude, I don't even have enough. I wouldn't even be able to trade this because the margin that I have to use is $66. But if I switch on over to here, as you see, I have to have 22.73 to get true pips. So I'm able to risk less to gain more. So in these kind of cases, this is why for me personally, I'll be looking at sticking with this kind of area. Oh, what the hell? Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Give me one moment. Cause he's the only one I got. Da 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 da. Never seem to get it right. Da 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 da. Okay, I want to check if my audio is too loud or not. Nah. Okay, audio is good. All right. So, but in any case, right? For me, I had to take a look at all the different trading pairs, all the different currencies, and see exactly which one was going to pay me the most with me having to use the least. And EU came to be my #1 favorite in that regard. While I used to trade this, for me, I could only be able to trade theoretically 500. Come on. Which puts me at a 0.05, and that gets me into a position to where I can actually trade it. So, do I really want to do that? Not really. I want to try and use the most, gain the most while using the least. It makes the smartest thing. So that's why I originally took GU off my list. If I find that I can make some money and I can at least hold something and gain something, I don't mind not swing trading this, but scalping this, if I have to be honest. Now, in any case, as you see over here, we have one more, well, two more. So let's look back at AU. I used to also trade odd CAD, so let's bring that back onto the forefront. What did I say again? Audio. Okay. Now, let's see how these are moving. If I was to trade what I'm looking to trade, now you see the difference, right? So I'm using less margin, but now I'm not true pips. I'm only gaining 7 cents instead of 10 cents per pip move. But this does move quite, if I had to be honest, expansively. This is a crazy thing. This moves a lot, but the pips are interesting in this too. So pull out the ruler. I'm on the hour time frame. The current movement that is made in the last 3 hours has netted only 30 pips. So that means that you would have to been spending 3 hours looking at this chart to gain 30 pips. We look at the hour here, right? Let's look at 3 hours. That's 6. Wait. Oh, I'm dumb. Let me actually make it more realistic. I just now noticed that that wasn't as realistic. Let's actually do this, because that's 2 hours. That's 3 hours. So 30 pips in 3 hours. But that's going to be 30 true pips in comparison to, this would be 3 hours. This would be the best move that it had in that 3 hours. Showing, god damn it, Bobby. There it is. So we're looking at 23 or 24 pips, let's round it up, to 30 pips. In the span of 3 hours, both have big moves. This one pays 0.7 or 7 cents, while the other one pays 10 cents. You get more action out of EU and you get true pips versus less actions out of odd CAD, but I would say that at least it makes decisions, right? And right now it has made a very weird decision. At which, is this actually gonna drop? Looks like it already did last month, but right there, that is very interesting. I would like to see how that holds. We might actually take a trade on this next week. Remember, I love to short things. And as you can see, I have charted this up. This was at least a year ago last time I did this, so nope, you go back. Now let's look at the last pair that I pulled out, right? Odd U. As you can see, I've also charted odd U up. Now we're looking at 1,000. So 1K. This one pays true pips. Ooh. And it uses less. Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right. Well, for one, you're off. And for two, you're off. It looks like odd U has survived because it's actually cheaper. Now the question is the movements. I don't think that it moves as fluidly as EU, but it's still something, you know. Let's go to the hour and let's choose 3. The biggest move in 3 hours. And I'm choosing the ones that have a negative and a positive in it for a reason. So these 3 hours, it looks like that's the highest on the, god dang it, pull it down, you stinking dead bat. Yeah, okay, there it is. Let me close this real quick. This stuff is so annoying. Okay, there we go. Ruler. $18 pips, 3 hours. That's not bad, especially if they're true pips. I actually think the other one would be more profitable, if I had to be honest. Because we're losing 3 pennies per, but we also gain the equivalence in its movement. We're looking at a divergent too. Wait. See, this is the shit that always confuses me. It's holding off the 14, so I don't know. I'm not suspecting it to actually break down and hold. But if it does, then it would have to drop down to here in order for me to feel confident in getting in for a short. We are looking at an M, right? But it's too sporadic over here. It'll be a different story if price action dipped here instead of having such big retracements. If it would have held down here, then rallied up, then I could see it potentially not making it as high, knocking off the 14, at which our entry would have been good because we had the opportunity of potentially retesting this zone, making it into a structure or a resistance level now, and then taking it south with the bull or the bears in favor. But in this kind of case, I'm not thinking that to be so. Oh, Walmart's making some brash decisions, eh? Walmart makes drastic decision amid tariff threats. This is, I've never heard of this publication. Let's see what they have to say. Because I can see Walmart taking a massive hit because they're supposed to be known as the cheapest place to go and get stuff at. But if they're doing that or having that ability because they're getting a lot of Chinese imported products, then I can see that they're going to have an issue, because having to move from Chinese imported products, which were cheaper, to American products, which will be more expensive, has the approach of really messing them up. Because then they're just going to be in equilibrium with mostly every other company at that point. Now, they do have the leverage to be able to expand farms themselves and do all that to mitigate cost here in America. But the question is, are they going to want to do that? It's kind of like the Blockbuster thing. Do you want to do the thing that could save your company, or do you want to hold on to yourself and your pride and your mental image of how you suspect business should be? That's actually something that I've had to literally teach myself. Buying behaviors are going to consistently change. It's just a matter of, are you willing to rock or roll with the punches, or are you just going to get out the way? In this case, we could say a roll with the punches is a figure of speech to, are you going to evolve and adapt, or are you just going to say, fuck it, we're going to stay true to our pride and just move out the way? We're going to do the thing that we've always seen work, and we're just going to stick with that. Or we're going to roll with those punches and, be able to move ourselves, be fluid. So right now we have one loss under our belt. I'm not really seeing any trades that we could take to change that. I mean, right now we do have this opportunity. The only thing that I would have done is probably insert off here so I can mitigate as much of the risk, just because it is very fickle right now. This is the new hour. Let's see what it does. If we're able to hold, I would say, into this box, then whenever it goes to retest this area, I don't mind getting in. Such as if this current candle is able to drop down to here, right? And we get a retest back up to about this zone, I will hop in that retest back up to this zone with one entry, because I want to see if it's going to keep fighting and create more railroad tracks. Because if it does, then this zone becomes, how can I say, a support area at which we're going to start looking at buys step in. So the bulls will start having momentum. So right now we are going to see if it's also going to retract off the 15. We have an hour to determine that. Let's see what happens here. Are we going to railroad track again, or are we actually going to retest? We have a wick wasteland. I see more heavy wick outs on the bottom side than I do on the top. Over here is a different story, but if we're talking about from like here on over, this side has the most. It's the last 15-minute candle for that 30-minute. Okay. I would much rather like to see it push up to the 14 MA. Give us an indicator that we're about to start trading underneath it, you know? If I see this candle wick drop or a body drop somewhere down to here and hold for this 5-minute, and then the next candle jumps up, touches it, then I might be inclined to getting in if it flips. But if this candle is able to push and hold above the 14, then I might be subject to just watch. But if we can enter into a great position while we catch the momentum towards the short, because if you see on the daily, it is tapped off of the 14 MA. We are starting to get a flip, right? MA is traveling underneath the whole time, gains momentum whenever there's a flat line. So look here, right? Whenever it started to make its move, we have a rise with a flat. Rise, flat whenever it starts to kind of, how can I say, chop a little bit, then rise again. Are we going to get another chop and then rise, or are we going to get a chop and then short? If we do get the short, then we could see price action fall beneath this, retest this 14 average on the 4-hour, making it to where this on the weekly chart, we start to see a flip, bringing us into heavier momentum to get towards this area, flipping this on its head, turning us into a dominant force to potentially reach this zone right here. But I think that I would have to retest the 14 in May off the monthly, at which I can put it somewhere, maybe retesting here. Potentially. So we will continue to see how this goes. I don't think that I should enter unless there's like a drastic move. But I think if anything, I will be entering closer to the end of the hour candle than anything. Because this hour candle is going to really be the determining factor if we're going to start seeing short step in or if we got bulls to continue. So if that's the case, in the meantime, I'm going to step away, but I'm going to keep this thing going live. I think that there's some things that I should do. So, yeah, I'll be checking in here and there. And whenever I do, I'll gladly say something. Be right back. All right. So we got 2 minutes until the end of this stick, and as you can see, price action did end up pulling back. So I think the bulls have the market completely. Now we can start looking at buy entry positions now. So if that's the case, this is going to hold. We'll see. It is giving the hold features. All right, new candles formed. Like, honestly, I don't mind hopping in here because it's not that big of a loss. So this would be my final trade of the day. I think I'll only enter into one unless something major happens, like price action crumbles down to here. Then I'll enter into a second. But at the current moment, I don't really see that happening. I see it buying. It's a very tough call, but I do see it primarily in favor of the bulls. I don't really see the bears having much influence. We're almost up 3 pips. That's interesting. Just the first 5 minutes. We'll see. Looks like it's retesting the 14. Is losing his battle against the 14. I'm gonna sit here and like narrate this whole thing almost as if I'm watching a battle. Technically it is kind of a battle. It's like a jousting match. And I'm wondering if this is going to be the third Black Crow. And let's see what it does. It looks like bears are at a loss. This is just a 5-minute candle, but it is a little jousting match at the moment, wouldn't you say so? In this kind of case, let's see exactly what's about to happen. It looks like it's respecting the 14, but it only matters about the last minute of the candle. That's what's really going to determine or provide the most information. Is how does this candle end?
What do you mean? But there's absolutely nothing we can do about any of that.
Yes, exactly. Our legends will be forever safeguarded merely by the very passing of time, don't you see?
There's no way.
So, before I hop off, I guess
Pity, sir.
it looks like that trade is testing out this blue zone that I had marked up. That's a gigantic wick or a candle. I'm wondering, are we going to have a gigantic wick in addition, you know? Is it going to bounce itself into here, rally back up, or are we actually going to just fall straight through? At which retesting the bottom side of this would be the primary kind of indicator at which I would potentially get in for a secondary position. But at the current moment, we are up 13 pips. I believe we lost 20 pips today. So testing my luck is not my strongest point at the moment, but if what I'm thinking goes correct and we break through and we're able to hold underneath, then we may be good for the continuation of potential shorts. At least down to the 14. Now let's see how that ends. Oh, I'm on the minute. Never mind. Hold up. In this case, let me watch one more 5-minute candle. This will be my ending whenever we hit 10:30. So in the meantime, I am just going to clean up my office, get all that done. All right, so today's trading journal has concluded. I'll let everyone know what happens with this trade. I'll continue to monitor it throughout the day, and if we're still in it tomorrow, then I'll give y'all the updates, let y'all know what psychological things that I have to deal with, etc., to stay in it, whatever. But as you can see, today is the 7th, Wednesday. It is 10:30. That will conclude. So far we took 2 losses today, but right now, since we haven't concluded this one, it may still be a loss. You never know. But so far we are in the money, I would say, on it, so we don't have to really think about it too much, right? If price action ends up coming all the way back up here, I kind of would not want to be in that, if I had to be honest. So we're at least gonna take home, I would say, 13 pips. Oh wow, it's not letting me do that, as you can just see. But I will make it to where we won't go back that far, especially with me wanting to enter in on another trade potentially while I'm gone. We just have to see how everything plays out. And that's what I'll be doing throughout the day. My original thought was we could see price action pull up to here, but I would much rather confirm it. Come on. Won't even let me do that. Not even in that trade. I guess we'll just keep it there and let it trigger, right? Yeah, let's just keep it there and let it trigger. If it triggers it, then y'all see it live before, well, I'll see it live beforehand. Oh? Don't tell me it's dead. No, I'm just about to get rid of you. God, being a nuisance. I would much rather catch it up here, but if I can't catch it up here, then I'd rather just wait. It didn't reach up to where I was thinking, but it would have entered into, actually, I kind of have to take it now. Mostly because it was originally in the area at which I had projected, which was about here. If we look at it from the 15, my first line was about here. So it would have tapped me in. I changed it just because I thought that we had like a little bit of retracement coming in from the main stick off the 15. But yeah, I actually think I should get in. The hour is going to pose a different story because we had so much heavy momentum for the shorts. I was expecting us to be able to conclude where we're at on the hour, have no real movements. The next candlestick comes in, we have a retracement up to this area, but it looks like it still has some fight in it. We're going to see. Well, I'm going to see as my day progresses, but y'all saw me get into the next trade for tomorrow, so I'll catch y'all on the next one. Sydney, you got this, bro. Day by day, step by step, 1% better per day. Let's get this. Let's become a profitable trader. I don't feel like working for someone else. I really don't. All right, deuces.